Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Babel on Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Yud Zayin, Daf 17 of Masechta Sheqalim, another great daf here in Masechta Sheqalim, discussing the times of Mashiach and the waters and stuff, and then we talk about the Shulchan in the Beis Hamikdash, which is also very interesting. Let's go weiter. We're going to start on Daf Zayin Amud Beis at the Mishnah all the way at the bottom. Heichon hayu ishtachavayos ha'elu. Where were the 13 bowing downs? Right, we had said in the previous Mishnah that they would bow down 13 times in the Beis Hamikdash. Rabbi Gamliel and Rabbi Chanina's Kanakonim would talk bow down 14 times. Was is das? Iba b'tzafin v'Iba b'darim. Okay, so they would bow down 4 times in the north, 4 times in the south. Shalosh b'mizrach, 3 times in the east. Uveis b'mayriv, and twice in the west. That's 13. Keneged shlosha asur shairim dromim. Keneged shlosha asur shairim. Period. Opposite the 13 gates. Okay, fine. Dromim smuchim lima'arav. So the gates in the south, starting from closest to the western wall. Shara Elyon, so there was the upper gate. Shara Delek, the kindling gate. Shara Bechoris, the gate of the firstborn. Shara Mayim, and the gate of the water. Velomadikashmo Shara Mayim. Why was it called the gate of the water? Shabo Machnisin Slochis Shal Nisuch Hamayim Bechag, because that is where they would bring in the flask of water from which, right, that they would use for the Nisuch Hamayim on Sukkos. Soon enough, we're going to be learning Masechta Sukkah. I think it's in the 5th parak of Masechta Sukkah that they discuss the Simchas Beis HaShoeva, and this is where they would bring in the flask of water on Sukkos. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, who remembers what we say about Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov, Masechta Eruvin, I believe, Mishnahs Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Kavinoki, that we don't have so many places where Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov comes up, but where he does, we tend to paskin like him. Anyways, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov says, Bo hamay mifakim va'osin v'asidin lios yosin mitachas mifton abayis, that is where the water is going to come out from in the future and go out towards the threshold of the temple, as we are going to learn all about today. About in the future, there's going to be waters coming forth from the Beis Hamikdash. Lumasim b'tzafon smuchim b'ma'arav, and in opposite the 1 second, we have a visitor. Yes, come in. Come, say hi.
Oh my gosh.
Come, Ashley, come, say hi. Oh, look, it's Ashley. Ashley was at the very beginning. Ashley did Babylon Talmud. How long were you joining us for?
3 weeks.
A good 3 weeks. Kol hakavod. That's amazing.
I'll come back for the last 3 weeks.
And she's going to come back for the last 3 weeks. We can't wait. And Mirza Hashem. Anyways, where are we again? Right, so Lu'umasan, and then opposite them, so that was in the southern wall, so opposite them in the northern wall, B'tzafon Smuchim B'mayrav, in the north, close to the to the west, so starting from the western wall in the north, Shar Yechonya, the gate of Yechonya, Shar Korban, the gate of the Korban, of the sacrifice, Shar Anoshim, the gate of the women, Shar Hashir, and the gate of the song. Shmo Shar Yechonya. How come there was a gate called the gate of Yechonya? Shebo Yatsu Yechonya B'Galuso, because that is the gate also, as we're going to learn about later on this stuff, that is the gate that Yechonya went out of when he went to exile. Sheba Mizrach, Shar Nicanor, the gate in the east was the gate of Nicanor. Okay, that is in the east of the Azara, right? Kilu Shar Nicanor is where you would enter into the area where the Mizbeach was. Okay. Anyway, so in the east was the Shar Nicanor. Ushne Pishpishin Ayulo, and there were 2 small gates next to Shar Nicanor, Echad Mimino v'Echad Min Smolo, one to the right, one to the left. Vishnaim b'Mayrav v'Lohoya Le'Anshem. There were 2 gates in the west, and they were anonymous. Zog the Gemara, Masnisen Abba Yosa ben Yochanan, our Mishnah is Abba Yosa ben Yochanan, the Amar, that he said, Keneged Yud Gimel Shairim, that they would bow down, that basically, God willing, when the temple is rebuilt, So when we go to the temple, we're going to have to bow down in 13 places. I assume that we'll do that. Bram kirabanan shiva shairim hayu ba'azara. But however, according to the rabbis, there were not 13 gates in the Azara. There were only 7. So adad rabbanan hechan hayu shachavos halalu. But so therefore, according to the rabbis, who said that there were only 7 gates in the Azara, well then, what were they bowing down? Then what were the 13 bows? They're obviously not connected to 13 gates because there are only 7 according to the rabbis. So ki hahi de taninan taman, it's like that which we learned over there. Yud gimel pratzos hayu bo shepirtzum malchiyavon, that the Greeks, during the time of Hanukkah, mistame, in that era, the Greeks made 13 breaches into the walls of the Azara. And the Chashmonaim, when they were victorious in the miracle of Hanukkah, so then they fixed the breaches in those 13 areas that were breached. Vigazu kenegdon yidgimol shtachavos, and then they said that, bow down at each of these 13 breaches that were filled. Ksiv, the pasuk says, v'haya bayomahu. So this is moving on and discussing these waters that are going to come forth from the Beis Hamikdash in the future. It says that it will be on that day, Yetzu Ma'im Chaim Yerushalayim v'gomer, that Ma'im Chaim, I guess, live spring water will, I think that's actually oxymoron, live spring water, because Ma'im Chaim and Mei Ma'ayan are actually taka opposites. Is that correct? No, one second. There's Mei Mikvah. Oh, no. So Mei Ma'ayan, I think, is taka Ma'im Chaim. Yeah, I think that is taka the same thing. So Yetzu Ma'im Chaim Yerushalayim. So there's going to be living waters that are going to come forth from Jerusalem. Tani was telling me Beis Kodesh Kodashim Ara Paroches Kekani Sile V'Chile, that from the Holy of Holies until the Paroches, which divided the Holy of Holies from the holy part of the Heichel. So the water there will be very thin, like the antennae of Sile and Kile. I'm not exactly sure what they were, but mistama, like small insects. Mina paroches ad mizbach hazav, from the curtains until the golden altar, which was inside of the Kodesh. Kekarne chagavim, is like the antennae of the grasshoppers. Mizbach hazav ad azaris, from the golden mizbeach until the azaris. I guess that probably means until like where the Azara starts, I guess. Like the Ulam, I guess. Kechut shel shisi, like the thread of a warp. Min Azaris and Miftan Abayis, and then from the Azara, I guess, from like the Ulam, I guess, like where the Ezras Kohanim starts, I guess, until like Shar Nicanor, let's say. And that's how I'm understanding it. Kechut shel Erev, but I guess Lemaisa will find out, hopefully soon, is like the thread of a wolf. Okay, mikan ve'elach ke mipi apach, and then from there on it will flow like pouring out of a jug. Ksiv, the pasuk says, v'nei mayim mefakim min hakosef hayimonis, and there is water coming out from the right side. B'tzei sa'ish kodim, when the fellow went forth, v'kav biyado, and he had like a ruler. Vayomed elef ba'ama, and he measured 1,000 amas. V'yavireni b'mayim mei afsiyim, and he brought me through these Mei Afsiyim waters. Ad Karsula, this was water that was up to my ankles. Vayomed Elef, and then he measured another 1,000 amas. Vayavreni b'mayim Mei Birkayim. Ad Birkia. Okay, and then he was standing in knee-deep waters. Vayomed Elef Vayavreni Mei Mosnayim. Ad Mosnaya. So then he measured another 1,000 amas, and then I was standing in waters up until my hips, to my waist. Mikan ve'elach vayomed elef nachal shalucha, and then after that he measured 1,000 amas, and then pashit, it was so deep that nobody could pass. Afilu livironin gedola in yuchal lavor, but it was so deep and so I guess like tumultuous. Ich weiß nicht. Very, very impossible to pass. Lamaisa. So even a big ship would, even the Ever Given wouldn't be able to pass through this water, Lamaisa. go weiter. My timer. How come? Vitzi adir lo yavrenu, because it says that even this great boat won't be able to pass through. Mipnei ma, how come? Kigo amayim meisachu. Ma'u meisachu. What's this meisachu? Milashut. That you would be unable to swim through it. Okay. Or maybe even like to float or something. I don't know. Boats can't go through there, I guess. Amr Rav Chuna says, Rav Chuna ba'asrin karu l'shayata schuna. That in where we live, they call swimming schuna. So we see that sachu means like swimming. Okay. Ufiras yadav b'kirbo, that the Eibishter says that he's going to extend his hand inside of Moab, kasher yifros hasoch lischos, like a fellow who's swimming extends his arm to swim. What's that called? Is that called the crawl? Is that what that's called when you swim like that? Is that what that's called, or is that just the slang? What's that stroke where you like extend your hands forward? Is that what's called the crawl? Maybe. Wow, when's the last time I swam? Oh, well, I guess it depends how you define swimming. Let's go weiter. Ma'u lischos Amar Reb Yossi be Reb Bun Mayin de Mismalin ba'alma. Okay, it's talking about waters that they spoke about in the world. Okay. It says by Yomahu Yiyah Makor Niftach Leveis David, that on that day, like at the time of Geula, there will be a source opened up to the house of David, Ulioshve Yerushalayim, and to the dwellers of Jerusalem, Lechatos Lenida. Reb Shmuel Bar Nachman B'Shem Reb Yonasan Mi Beis David Bar Yoshve Yerushalayim, that from the house of David until all of the dwellers of Jerusalem, Ksherim Lenida, the waters will be acceptable for a nida to purify in Lechatos, as well as for a to be used for para aduma. Para aduma dafka needs to be mayim chayim, whereas like going to the mikvah, you can go into the mikvah either in mayim chayim, like spring water, or it can even be a mikvah, gathered water. Okay, mikan ve'elach, but from once it hits like the people living in Jerusalem and onwards, so metaruvos heim, so then it's like a mixture of waters. It's not pure mayim chayim, it's mayim chayim and also may mikveh. So over there, Hem Ksherim the Nida, it's kosher for a Nida, where you need like a mikvah, Ufsul mechatos, but you can no longer use it for paraduma because that you need Mayim Chaim, pure Mayim Chaim. Amr Belazar says, Belazar Beis David Bar Yoshve Yerushalayim Ksherim the Nida lechatas, that from the house of David until the dwellers of Jerusalem, the water was kosher for Nida and for mechatas, for paraduma, mikan ve'elach, katafrisos, but from the dwellers of Jerusalem and onwards, it was slope waters, slope, slope waters. Psun lenida ulchatas, and you can't use it. You can't use slope waters for anything. Okay, it says that he said to me that these waters are going out from the upper Galilee. Ze yam shel samchu. Okay, this is the Samchu Sea. Is that like a thing? Has anybody heard of the Samchu Sea? I don't think I have. V'yardu ala arava ze yam shel Tveria. Okay, and then it'll go down to the arava. That is the Tiberias. Uvo ayama ze yam hamelach, and then it will come to the Dead Sea. Elayama hamotzim ze yam agadol, and then the yam hamotzim is the Mediterranean. V'lama nikrash motzim. How come it's called the motzim? Kineget shtei paimim sheyatza, because of the two times that the Mediterranean overflowed its banks. Echad b'dor Enosh, one time during the days of Enosh, v'echad b'dor Aflaga, and once during the Dor Aflaga when they built the Tower of Bavel. Reb Lazar b'shem Reb Chanina b'rishona yotza ad Calabria. Okay, the first time it went out until Calabria, v'shnia yotza ad Kipe Barbaria. The second time the waters overflowed until the Barbary coast. Reb Acha b'shem Reb Chanina Barishona Yotza ad Kipe Barbaria. Reb Chanina says that the first time Itaka overflew until the Barbary coast, Bashnia Yotza ad Akko, and the second time Itaka overflew until Akko, Ad Yafo, and until Jaffa. Ad Po Tavo Velo Sosif. So the pasuk says that until here shall you go and no more. Ad Akko Tavo Velo Sosif. Okay, you shall go forth till Akko and no more. Ufo Yoshes Begon Galecha, and here you will have like the majesty of your waves. Ad Yafo Oshes Gon Galecha, until Jaffa will be the majesty of your waves. Nicha Yama Rabba Yama Demilcha. I understand why the water will have to go forth until the Mediterranean and until the Dead Sea, Bishvil Miskan, to make their water sweet. Yom Tveri, Yom Samchu. But why should these waters have to flow forth until the Tiberias, the Galilee, or until the Sea of Samchu? So the answer is L'Rabos Digosom, in order to make their fish more plentiful. The Chsiv Beis, the pasuk says, Le'mina Tia Digosom, that for its species shall be its fish. Le'mine minim Tia Digosom, that for all sorts of types of fish. Tani Amr Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, says Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, Ma'aseh Shalach Tzidon. Says Reb Shimon ben Gamliel that one time Ataka went to Tzidon. Where's Tzidon? What's like in Syria or something? Ve'viu lifanai yoser mishloshmeus mine dagim b'tam choyechad. And they brought in front of me, says Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, more than 300 types of fish on one plate. Oh my goodness. Does it mean that he ate 300 types of fish on one plate, or just that they brought in front of him? 300. Can I even list 10 types of fish? Gefilte fish, salmon, tuna fish, whitefish. Let's go weiter. V'nirpu amayim bitzosov ugvav v'lo yirafu lemelach nitnu. So basically, this pasuk at the beginning says v'nirpu amayim, that the water will be sweet, but then it says bitzosov ugvav. What were those? Like it's now I forget, but it says v'lo yirafu lemelach nitanu, that they're not going to be sweet. They're going to be salty. So we have these psukim. One of them says that the water is going to be sweet. The other one says that the water is going to be salty. No. So ksiv nirpu amayim v'adomart v'lo yirafu amayim. So on the one hand it says sweet, right? They'll be sweet. The other one says that they won't be sweet. Makamu u'shmo v'lo yirafu. Okay, very good. There's a place taka called v'lo yirafu. All right, so it's not to say that it won't be sweet. There's just a place that we're talking about that happens to be called lo yirafu. Don't get confused. Ksiv v'ala nachal yaila al svaso mizeh u'mizeh kol eitz maichol, that on the stream, on its shores, there will be all sorts of trees to eat. Lo yibol aleu v'lo yitam piryo, that its leaves will not wither and its fruit will not cease. L'chodash vivaker, and in its months it will be ripe. Tani, it's taught Amr B'Yehuda, says Rabbi Yehuda Lefi Shabalam Hazet Tvua Osa L'Shisha Chodashim V'Ilan Osa L'Shneim Osar Chodesh, that because in this world a wheat grows in 6 months and a tree can provide fruit in 12 months, twice as long. But in the future, in the future, however, wheat will grow to its full growth in 1 month, and a tree will grow in 2 months. So it'll still be the 2-to-1 ratio, but instead of 12 months and 6 months, it'll be 2 months and 1 month respectively. But Lemaisa, with modern farming, can they already reach these inyanim? Maybe are we saying that we're already at the times of Mashiach, that can trees already, can they like do their magic, and can the people spray certain magic on certain things or inject certain things in other things and figure out how to make these things already grow in such speeds, or is that not like a thing? I don't know much about these inyanim. Let's go weiter. My time, how come the chodash vivaker? Because it says that the pasuk says the chodashav, in its months it will be ready. So the wheat in 1 month and the trees in 2 months. So Amar Rabbi Yossi, says Rabbi Yossi Lefi Shabalam Hazet Tvua Osa L'Shisha Chodashim V'Ilan Osa L'Yud Beis Chodesh, because in this world the same starting point, which is that wheat takes 6 months and trees take 12 months, but in the future, also the Tesvav Yom, the wheat will take 15 days, and a tree will take 1 month. Because we saw during the days of Yoel that grain was able to grow in 15 days. The Karev Mimeno HaOmer. So I guess in this case it would probably be barley, because the Omer is barley, and they were able to bring the barley from this barley that grew in 15 days. My time, how come the pasuk says that the children of Zion rejoice and be happy in the Eibishter your God, that He gave you the Moreh, which is the early rains for tzedakah, charity, geshem moreh umalkush barishon, and you will have the early rains and the late rains all in the same month. So what does it do with the pasuk? It says the chodashav vivaker, that it's months, plural, it will be right. that in its months, meaning in every single month, it will become ripe. Not that it will take 2 months, but that each and every month will be enough to ripen its fruits. Valeu l'srufa, the pasuk says that its leaves will be l'trufa. Rabbi Yochanan Amar says, Rabbi Yochanan, tarfei motzis ale utraf mezona, that it's food, that you'll suck these leaves and you'll be able to get nutrition, to get food from them. Utraf mezona, and the word traf means food. So alam valei l'trufa means that you'll be able to get food from these leaves. Rabbi Shmuel, chad omer lahatir peshel amaylon, mechad omer lahatir peshel amaton. So Machlekes Rav and Shmuel, one of them says that this leaf is good, that it opens up your upper mouth, i.e. if you're don't have an appetite, so you can eat these leaves and then you'll have, Baruch Hashem, an appetite. V'chad omer lahatir peshel amaton. Another one says that what these leaves do is that they open up the peshel amaton. L'maiseh, if you're constipated, will open you up. Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, chad omer lahatir pe akares, v'chad omer lahatir pe ilmim. Rabbi Chanina, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi, one of them says that it is to open up the mouth of women who are unable to have children, i.e. that they will open up and have children. And the other one says that it is to open up the mouths of mute people. Okay, so the Mishnah continues. Ulu masum b'tzafon v'chulei. So we talk about that the gates in the north. One of them we said was the gate of Yechonya. So now we're going to talk a little bit about Yechonya. That when Nebuchadnezzar came to Yerushalayim to destroy it, so he went and he was staying in Antiochia at this time, which apparently is somewhere in Turkey. And the Sanhedrin Gedola went to Nebuchadnezzar and the Sanhedrin said to Nebuchadnezzar, has it arrived? Is the time for the Beis Hamikdash, as it's time to be destroyed, arrived? Nebuchadnezzar responded to them, also Shemlachti Aleichem Tenuli, the one who I made king over you, give him to me, i.e. Yechonya. Vani holech, and I'm give him over to me, and I'm getting out of here. So they went and they told Yehoiachin. I think Yehoiachin was Yechonya, right? I hope so. Unless not. 1 second. Yeah, Yehoiachin was Yechonya. So Tenuli, so Bov Amru Yehoiachin, so they told Yehoiachin slash Yechonya, Melech Yehuda, Nebuchadnezzar ba'i lecha, Nebuchadnezzar wants you. Came in Sheshama me'en kach, when Yechonya heard this, so he understood what it meant. So Notam Avtecho shel Beis Hamikdash, listen to this. He took the keys of the Beis Hamikdash, Ala legago shel heichal, he went up to the roof of the heichal, Amar lefanov, and then he said before God, Ribono shel olam, master of the world, L'sha'avar ayunu ne'emanim lecha. Look, initially we were trustworthy to you, and you gave us your keys to your house, to the Beis Hamikdash. And now that we are no longer trustworthy, I'm giving back to you your keys. There's machlokas amorayin. Chad Omer zarkan ve'od lo yardu. One man, the Omer says that Yechonya then threw the keys up into the heavens and they never came back down. The other opinion is that a hand came out of heaven and took the keys and caught them and brought them up to the heavens. Kevan Shirau Kol Chore Yehuda Kain. Once all of the noble people saw in Jerusalem that this was happening, that Yehoiachin was being taken away, and that he threw the keys into the heaven, they went up to their roofs, v'naflu v'mesu, and they jumped off of the roofs and died. Ado d'chsiv, this is what the pasuk says, Masagei Chizayon, Malacha Efo ki alisa kulach ligagos suos milea ir homia b'komer, that there's this vision that everybody went up to their roofs, and essentially it was a very unfortunate time. And it says, I'm reading the continuation of the pasuk, which is not in the Gemara, that your dead were not dead of swords, and they're not killed in battle, i.e. they died because they jumped off their roofs when they realized what terrible reality was coming to Judah. Zok, the Mishnah, Halacha Gimel of the 6th parak of Masechta Sheqalim, Yud Gimel Shulchan Osei B'Mikdash, there were 13 tables in the Beis Hamikdash. Ches Shel Shayish 8 of them were made of marble. Bebeis HaMitbachayim, there were 8 of tables made out of marble in the temple butchery, which was I think right opposite the outer Mizbeach in the Ezra's Kohanim. Shalein Madichnas HaKravayim, and on those tables they would wash the intestines, the kishkis. Uveis b'mayriv, and there were 2 tables in the b'mayriv hakevesh. There were 2 tables to the west of the ramp of the Mizbeach. Echad shel shayis ve'echad shel kesef, one of marble and one of silver. Al shel shayish nosnin esayvarim, on the marble table they would put the limbs of the animals before they were placed in the Mizbeach. Al shel kesef klei sharis, and on the silver table they would put the utensils that they would the kalim that they would use on the Mizbeach. Ubeis ba'ulam. Okay, so far up to 10. There were 2 tables in the ulam, which is the entrance to the heichal. Mi befnim ela pesach, ala pesach, kilu, inside the doorway. Pesach habayis. Echad shel shayis ve'echad shel zav. One of them was made out of marble. The other was made out of gold. Al shel shayish nosnin lechem aponim b'chnisaso. And when they would bring in the lechem aponim, I believe on Shabbos, the new lechem aponim, so they would put the lechem aponim onto the marble table on the way in, and then a week later on its way out, they would put it on the gold table. Because we go up in holiness, we don't go down, and therefore we start with marble, and then on the way, and then on the continuation, we then get up to gold. And then of course in the heichal was the shulchan. The 13th one was the shulchan from the Mishkan. That is where the lechem aponim would be the entire week. Weiter sagt die Gemara Tani al shel kesef. It was taught. So we have a brayso that says that taka the lechem aponim on their way in were put on shulchanos of silver. Rabbi Yossi b'shem Rabbi Shmuel bar Rabbi Yitzchak Rabbi Chanina Mati bar b'shem Rabbi Yochanan leiskan shel kesef. He says, no, the brayso doesn't say that you would put the lechem aponim on silver, because the silver would make the lechem aponim warm, and if you made the lechem aponim warm, so then it would get no good, it would get moldy. Lokein tani ze'echem anisim shenaisu b'veis hamikdash. But the Gemara asks, who cares? Why are you concerned about it getting moldy? Wasn't the whole context surrounding the lechem aponim miraculous anyways? Shekishem she'ayu manichin oso chom kachoy motziin oso chom. That there was the lechem aponim were miraculous. The whole experience of the lechem aponim was miraculous, in that just like you would bring in the lechem aponim warm, they would still be warm a week later. So what are you concerned that, if you put it on a silver table, it might get moldy? Moldy? There are miracles happening over here. The miracles will make sure that they don't get moldy. Shneimar, the Apostle says, Lasum lechem cham biyom milakcho, that there will be warm bread on the day that it's taken a week later. Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi Amar, in Maskirin Ma'aseh Nisim, says Rabbi Yoshua ben Levi, we don't rely on miracles. Meaning, that's not going to be a good proof. Meaning, if we're saying, look, don't put it on a silver table because silver is going to keep it warm and then it'll get moldy, don't say, but we can just rely on a miracle. No, that's not a good proof. We don't do things specifically assuming that there's going to be a miracle. If there's going to be a miracle, that's amazing. But we still have to be concerned about, hey, if you put something on silver, it's going to get moldy. Don't say, well, what do we care? There's miracles anyways. No, if it's going to get moldy, don't put it on it. If God wants to make miracles and keep it warm, whatever He can, but we shouldn't be doing things taking into account that God is going to be working miracles. Bon kume Rebbe, they asked Rebbe Ila, Lo haya sham lechem ma'ulanicho l'Shabbos haba. If there was no lechem haponim for this particular week, so can they leave the previous week's lechem haponim for the next week? Amrlon, so Rebbe Ila said to us, Ksiv v'nasata ala shulchan lechem panim lefanei tamid. You should put on the table these breads always. Lechem panim afilu pasul. So meaning make sure that there's always lechem apanim there, even if they are pasul. Just leave them. If you don't have lechem apanim this week, leave the lechem apanim from last week, even though they might be pasul. I'm sorry if you hear the gardeners in the background. I apologize, but we only have another few minutes left anyways. Asar Shulchanus also Shlomo, Shlomo HaMelech made 10 tables. The Chsiv, as the pasuk says, V'yash shulchanos asara, that Shlomo HaMelech made 10 tables. Vayonach beheichal, and he put them in the heichal. Chamisha miyamin v'hei mismol, 5 on the right and 5 on the left. And Tamar chamisha b'darim v'hei b'tzafon. If you want to say that Shlomo HaMelech put 10 tables in the north of the heichal and 10 tables in the south of the heichal, V'alo eina shulchan kasher ela b'tzafon. We know that the shulchan davka has to be in the north of the heichal. How could you have then 5 shulchans in the, how can you have 5 in the north and 5 in the south? And then I guess if you have 5 in the north and 5 in the south, then I guess that means that the regular shulchan of Moshe Rabbeinu was in the middle, but we need the shulchan to be in the north. So rather, V'nemar v'es hashulchan titen al tzelat tzafon, that the shulchan you have to put in the north. So matam lo chamishim yamin v'chamishim mismol. So what does it mean that there were 5 on the right and 5 on the left? Rather, what it means is el chamishim yamin shulchanu shel Moshe v'chamishim mismolo. No, what it means is that 5 of the tables were to the right of the mizbeach of the shulchan of Moshe, and 5 of the tables were to the left of the shulchan of Moshe. Afal pikein. No, period. But they were all in the north of the Zaris, of the Heichel. So in the north of the Heichel was where the Shulchan of Moshe was, and then to the right of the table was 5 of the tables of Shlomo, and to the left of it was the other 5 of the tables of Shlomo, but all of these tables were in the north of the Heichel. And even so, Moshe bilvad. And even though there were 11 tables, right, there was the Shulchan of Moshe plus the other 10 that we're mentioning, that Shlomo Melech made. So nonetheless, we would only put the bread on the one from the Mishkan, from Moshe. Shneimar, as the pasuk says, "Es hashulchan asher olav lechem aponim," the shulchan that the lechem aponim is on, and that's a reference to the and that means the shulchan of Moshe. Rabbeinu Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda Omer al kulanoi mesader, that he would put the bread on all of them. Right? You could rotate week to week. Shneimar, es hashulchanos v'aleim lechem aponim, that the pasuk says that on them is the lechem aponim. Not just shulchan singular, but shulchanot plural, that he would rotate the shulchans from week to week. Well, that was daf Yud Zayin of Masechta Sheqalim. I think it was an interesting daf, right? Talking about all these waters from the Sid Lavo and the shulchanos that they had in the Beis Hamikdash. Malim b'kodesh bein moridin, lechem aponim. Very interesting things. Enjoy. I'll catch you later. Peace out.